Can you hear me, Kofi? Hey, Kofi, can you hear me? Hello? Okay, cool. Alright, looks like I got 5. Cool. I got a kid coming in, so hold on. Alright, so what we're going to do today is kind of go over the basics of just the new indicator, and this is like first run through, not even what this thing's going to be at the very end, but this is going to be the mark indicator that's going to work with PAM. And so one thing that we're trying to incorporate in here that's not yet is the break of structures and the basically the change of characters and order blocks. So I think the next release will have those in it. And sorry if you hear the kids in the background. I got all 5 boys here, so they're going to be loud. Just part of being a single day. But so basically what this initial version is of mark is just marking the higher swing highs and the lower lows. And so as you can see, and what we're looking for is where we find that support level, right? So here's a higher high, came from up here, marked a higher high, and guess where we found our support? Little liquidity came right there, and it goes up. And so another higher high, guess what? Support, done again. Another higher high, support. And so this gives you an idea of if we're finding support at the levels that we're supposed to continue up, or if we start getting these lower lows. So we get all the way up, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. And as you can see, you know, Friday was just a ripper, and we never really came down off of that, but we did make that lower high and equal high at the end of the day. But if we look at a different day, and I'm looking at the 10-minute right now because the 10-minute has a lot of good stuff on it, and Thursday wasn't very much different, right? Higher high, support, and then we bounced. Higher high, support, just that consolidation right there, and we went up. So that's kind of what you're going to see. I'm trying to find like a more jacked up day, which was, yeah, this is a good one. So on Wednesday, it looks like we opened, we went up to and made a lower high, but it's tracking it from up here. So just saying we're in a bearish trend, right? We're staying in that bearish trend, and then we make a lower high here, but then this makes a higher high, and we still went down into the higher low area, which it's hard to tell because you're kind of looking, and this is PAM, so PAM gave you a signal to take up here. You made the higher high, and then it kind of dropped down into that squeeze and went to a higher low, but it never came out of the higher low. It went back up, made a lower high, higher low, and that's just a bunch of consolidation. And so as you can see, like that's what this is going to call out, is just a bunch of consolidation levels, and the end product is going to have your break of structures. It's going to show these bullish order blocks. It's going to show change of character, so you know whether you're in a bullish market or a bearish market. And with PAM, that's a vital thing that you need to know as to whether are you at the high end of the zones, or are you at the low end? Are you in the premium level, which is, this is in a very premium at this point, compared to where we were. So you know that you're looking more for a put signal from PAM than you are a call. So, and if you would have grabbed the put signal right there, I mean, you would have gotten several 4 points, 3 or 4 points right there. And later on, when mark is completely done, this is kind of what you're going to have. Move that drawing. So you'll have your change of characters that will be outlined. You'll have your lower highs. You'll see the break of structures actually when it makes a lower high, or if it makes equal lows. And then as you get these order blocks, you'll see the change of characters, right? So you had this the swing low right here, and then it made a swing high, and it broke the structure with this order block. And so with PAM, you'll be able to see a bearish order block at the top. With mark, you'll see that bearish order block at the top, and then it'll start dropping down. And as it breaks that change of character, you're now in a bearish market, and you made a higher high. You're really at the top of a range, and you've made a higher high. You make the swing low, you make a higher low, you make another swing low, which is a break of structure right here, because you're breaking this swing low. And then you go back up, make a higher low, and then you go down and make a lower low. So that's all a bearish market structure. And then as you came back up, you broke that lower high, and you went into a bullish market structure. And then you had a break of structure there, break of structure there, and then you made a higher low from here, which is still the bearish market structure, and then you went up and did another higher high. But as you came back down, you had a bullish order block, or a bearish order block, went down, and then you had your change of character break right here, because there's your lower swing low that the market created. And then this one, it completely took you out of the bullish market structure with that swing low right there. And so your change of character occurred when you broke it, went down, break of structure, lower low. And then it followed up with a bullish order block. So when mark's done, which I think Jimmy and I are probably planning for the next week, 2 weeks, to get this incorporated into mark, you're going to see the order blocks. You're going to see all of these change of characters. You're going to see lowers. You're going to see higher lows, lower lows, and it's going to be based off the swing momentum. And so that's kind of what mark's going to be, and it's going to work well with PAM, because you're going to see these levels that you'll have support and resistance at, and where you'll easily be able to follow these levels. Like if you had it on this day, you know, it's you got the support right there, and sure enough, that's where you took off from. Once you broke that, came back down, went up, you found support at that level. And it's just going to kind of mark those things. And see how you work down here? Well, there, that turned into resistance, right? Came back down, broke it again, turned into resistance. And then you found support here, and you never touched it again. And then PAM gives you this signal, and she kind of keeps you in the play, because you know you made a higher low right here from where you were here. So you've made a lower low, higher low, higher low, and you know you can stay all the way up, and then PAM generates this higher, or the mark generates this higher high, and that's when you get out, right? When you see that higher high, you see PAM creating the signal, and it breaks, you get out. And it just keeps kind of flowing through the entire process of the higher highs, higher lows, lower highs, lower lows. And when you see these equal highs, equal lows, you just know that you're in a consolidation market. And as you can see, that mark doesn't come, or PAM doesn't really do anything here. Then she gives you the down signal for, you know, the opposing trend, or the opposing signal, which is a continuation at that point. So again, the thing about Mark is that you just want to look at these levels as they're generated, because they're going to be those swings that give you the support structure that you need to make your plays off of. So this is a good one, although it's pre-market. You got a signal right here for this candle, this lowest low, and so that kind of tells you, hey, I did make a lower low. I'm at the bottom here. And you notice at this lower low, you don't have a signal. There's no signal there. So it goes up, and you get it. You get out right here. I mean, it's an equal high. You come back down, and you can even retake that signal. But PAM stop loss is never hit. It's never hit. Even if you drop this whole 1 point, you never lost your stop loss. And so then if you stayed in that move, you went all the way back up, and every level you found support. Even this gap up right here, but this, like I said, after hours does crazy stuff. But you can see how this lower high made that support, right? You can see that it just straight up, that's where it started, and then you had support again. And then once you break that support, you know that you've lost temporary support there, and now you have something it's rejecting. And this is an order block, so once again, Mark will call out this. It'll show you a bearish order block, and you will know to work yourself down. But currently, like, the reason why this hasn't been done in ThinkScript yet is because it's really, really difficult. And it takes actually a lot of work, a lot of coding to get it right. And so that's what Chimmy and I have been working on a lot, is getting this right. But right now I wanted to just get the support and resistance levels out there, because what you can see is as you create these swing lows, they create resistance and support levels further out. And that's what you see here that happened. Went all the way out here, and you had that level right there, and once you filled this small fair value gap, it came back through, went right back up. And that's a play that you can get in right there. You want to see this wick, and it comes down, and you see it rejecting off this line. It's going to keep rejecting. Most likely, you don't see any of these feeding back through down the lines again. I mean, they'll come up a little bit, come down, but they go back up. And until this breaks right here, you shouldn't worry about your call, because this is your higher low from over here and down here. So you know this is the level that you don't want to break. You have your PAM stop loss right here, which serves as really your lowest low of the past 20 candles, and it just kept going up. And even though we came right back here, you could have stayed in that trade. Yeah, it's risky at that point, because you could be making an order block that sticks, but that's what tried to happen here. They tried to make an order block that stuck, and it didn't. It went straight back up. So that's what Mark's going to be just for probably a week. Just very basic, not crazy. The stuff that you're going to see with the change of characters, the ICT structure that we're trying to incorporate built into this. But you can use these as your support and resistance while you're going through and trying to figure out whether you stay in the trade or not. So if you got in right here, if this is during the day, let's say you got in right here, PAM generated a signal. I mean, it would have kept you in. Mark keeps you in the whole time. Never tells you to get out, because you're not breaking any of these significant levels. And you're hitting the top of these every time, but you're not breaking any level that you should be worried about. Even this level. I mean, you're still going up. And then when PAM generates that last signal where, okay, this is the tallest candle, and you start seeing that work back down, you might get out right here. But how many points have you gotten out of that? I mean, that's a 6-point move on SPY no matter what. And on ES, that's probably, I don't know. It's a huge move on ES. So, and what I figured out is that I'm really liking using this stuff for futures, just as much as I like using it for options. Even though I love options, I'm starting to love futures as well. And you can just see structure, structure, structure. You're just finding your bases of that support. And it's also telling you where you could potentially reject, right? And if you don't make another green bar here, which is a higher high, and this keeps going, you know that you're gonna potentially be working your way down. But once you see this right here and it prints that higher low, you know you're still in that bearish market structure. You make a higher high, still, or bullish market structure. Make a higher high, you're still in the bullish market structure. All the way up until you see this right here. You see that lower low, you got to start questioning, or the equal low, are we going to reverse or not? And at that point we didn't. You guys know how Friday did. We actually made a higher low right there compared to that candle, and so we continue going up and just support every time, support every time, support every time, support every time. I mean, that's kind of the gist of Mark at this point. The next release, like V2, will be even much, it'll be so much stronger, because the break of structures and the change of characters is really the core of Mark. But we have to start somewhere. We have to test out these support resistance levels first to make sure that they work. What were you saying, Terry? Anyway, you have to test out the support and resistance levels first, and then you basically have to figure out, include the breaker structures in there, include the change of characters and the order blocks. So I thought we would have the breaker structures in here today, but then I reviewed it this morning with Chimmy, and yeah, Terry, if you think this is amazing, like, you wait until this is done. This is the most rudimentary version of Mark that you're ever going to see. This is the most basic version of Mark. But what I wanted you to be able to see is new traders, and even some existing traders that struggle with temporary support and resistance, is that you see where you're getting that support. You'll see it now. You can visualize it, right? You know, if you're this far off, man, you're good. And if you're not falling below this line, your calls are good. You can use all of these as stop losses, right? You can use every one of these lines as stop losses if you're in a call. If you're going above this and you go up it, well, there's your stop loss. You're going above this, you're above it, there's your stop loss. Going above it, stop loss. And it's not like this is a slow moving trend or a fast moving trend. This is 10 minutes. Every one of these is 60 minutes long. So imagine if you can stay in a trade where PAM gives you a signal all the way down here. You can verify that you hit a support level, even though she's generated the signal pre-market. And let me see if I got I think I probably have them on 30. And if I have them on 30, and I'll send you the settings for Mark to make it work, because nothing's refined now. This is really for beta testing for everyone to use, not to go too crazy with until we get it perfect. So yeah, I had Pam on 30, but still, that's where she generated the signal. And if you could have caught that moving pre-market, it's even sicker. But as you get out, Pam's generated that signal. You don't have to wait for Pam to generate a call signal, because you're seeing that you're finding support right here. Yep, exactly, Terry. That's the key, is that even if you miss that initial entry with Pam, you can get in and look, wait for it to retest. Look how many times these retest. You see how much retesting you actually do? But as long as you stay from this range to this range, you shouldn't be shaken out of this trade, right? There's no reason, because you've never, even though you've made a lower low right here, you never busted this support level. This is the support. And this is basically what PAM's based off of, even at these levels up here. It's just incorporated now into very fast temporary support and resistance levels, which is what trading is all about on a resistance, support, and breaking those and finding, the next level. That's what trading's all about. Is okay, where's my existing support? You know it's right here. You can even draw a line. Well, my price levels are jacked up because I was doing that chalk stuff, so it's not going to show up. Let me fix my line real quick. That's not going to work. But anyway, so you just draw a line all the way across, and then draw another one all the way across. Just make your lines even with these lines, and those will be your stop losses throughout the day. And then you actually know what your levels are for that day. So you know your levels. Even though like SATY's got them, everybody else has got them, and I love, like I said, I'm always going to use SATY's levels. But these will give you those temporary support levels, and I bet some of these will match up precisely with SATY's levels because he's usually spot on. But you'll probably have a SATY level right here and then one right here, and this will be, about the 50% point of that ATR move. So, I hope this makes sense. Do any of y'all have any questions? It's just right now, use this as your stop loss for PAM whenever you get those signals, or if you miss an entry like Terry said right there, if you miss that entry and it's pre-market, well, you still have an entry right here. And because you made a higher low right here, you made a higher low, you make a lower low right here, and once you see that you go back to that higher high and you start going up and then you make another one, you're good for entry. You're good. You draw your line right here and that becomes your stop loss. This is your entry point. That becomes your stop loss too. Once you hit this next level, this is your stop loss. Once you hit this level, this is your stop loss. And just keep working your way up, and you're going to stay in those trades longer. Remember, it's all about the momentum. And what you see is I love the squeeze indicators. I love them. But if you can see my screen, the squeeze indicators are telling you that you're losing momentum. But what never happened? You never broke one of those levels. And this is a lagging indicator. This is a lagging indicator. That's why these indicators are key, because they're all about price action. They're not about if, this is lagging. Now you can see long term, this is why I love Wave C. I say Wave C is probably the best squeeze indicator out there. It's just simply because Wave A is kind of weighing it down, making these come in, but Wave C said, hell no. We're always going up, and we continued to go up. And when did we start going down? When Wave C said so. So, Wave C is vitally important in your trade to stay in that momentum. And I will say that, I will teach that to all the students in the Discord, is that we're going to use Wave C. We're going to start when Mark comes full strength. Mark is going to be powerful. This is already powerful enough, and that's why I wanted to get it out to you kind of just on this first release, let you play with it, because you're going to find some bugs, and as you do, just post in the Discord that portion of it, the technical questions, the PAM indicators, all those places are free. We do have premium educational content that you don't have to do. The chat's free, but definitely, post things that you find in the Discord and ask those questions and let us know, because we want to make this as powerful tool as we can. But I hope that you see the benefit of this right here. This is the best thing, for right now. This is really good, and I can't wait until we actually get, and all this is break of structures, right? When Mark is done, these are going to be called break of structures, and your lower lows right here are going to be called change of characters, unless they're followed with an order block that completely engulfs them, which is what happened right here. It's just I think it's going to be amazing. This is baby Mark. When you see Mark is on steroids, you're going to it's going to make your trading life so much better for every one of you. And then we have great guys in the Discord that put these into bots, and they put them on mobile. I think this will be fairly simple to be put on mobile. As I save this into the technical indicator section in PAM tonight, or PAM releases tonight, I will definitely put the settings that I use, and I strongly suggest that you use only those settings right now. Don't mess around with the settings, because the settings are not, I've taken it has break of structure in there. It has change of character. I've disabled all of that because a lot of the logic in there is not correct yet. And so, yeah, exactly, Kofi. This is what this is for right now, is to hold for a long trending market. And then when Mark's done, it's going to tell you when you should be using PAM. And when PAM is giving you a poor signal, you know, let's say if you do have this set on 20, she starts generating signal right here. Well, you can see that it goes up above it, and you've been in a call, you just stay in it. And it'll really keep all those hairy signals from PAM out. It really will. And because you'll get a lot of repaints, right? You still get those repaints, and this is another example here where you went down to a higher low and it painted it for you, and even though we were using the top earlier, now it's using the bottoms, right? You're finding support here. And then once you get to the top of these, look at that move. Like, you have a higher high. Guess where you bounced? Look at where you bounced. On a squeeze, too. I mean, it's telling you your squeeze is going to fire up. Once you bounce here, you see this? You see that candle? Your squeeze is popping up. It's not going down. Because you've already rejected so far off this line, and this is significant support. It's going up. So yeah, and so it'll be simple. Even when we get it laid out with the break of structures and the change of characters, we're gonna make some kind of color code where you don't have to. I don't have all the labels. You know how I am. I don't have a bunch of labels turned on with bubbles. I did that for you guys so you could see it. When I use this, I won't have the bubbles on. I'll just be looking at those lines and making my plays off of those. Yeah, and see, and Chimmy says when it's fully finished, you'll be able to toggle exactly how much information you want to show as well. And so right now, I'll send you I'll put this in the PAM release section, and then, yeah, let's see about ES. Good question. Kofi's over here playing ES tonight, so he wants to see it. Oh, I got a big supply level here, so I gotta take that off, or it's just gonna blind you. Delete it. Come on, let me do it. Why does it not let me delete it? Anyway, don't pay attention to that. Hold on. What am I on? Just when I deleted that thing, it just took my whole screen over. So there's ES right now. PAM's generated a signal on ES. And so you can see exactly what she did, right? You found support, found support, found support, found support. And then whenever you get up here and you start seeing these PAM signals start firing, and even though you're going back into PAM, you need to be out of that call, right? Once you see that PAM signal actually fire and she comes below this and maybe gives you that signal, if you've been riding it this whole way, get out of this call. You had a gap right there, and I think that was probably at open, so that makes sense. But we're in a bearish trend right now. Even though you might find support here, lower low, lower high. This is saying higher low right now because we haven't went down. So just know that this is going to call out how this was the higher high. There's your lower high, and this should start working its way down. Now it's going to be a higher low until it gets a signal somewhere around right here where it'll say lower low, and you know you're still on that bearish trend. But what you got here was a bullish order block. Right there's a bullish order block. Doesn't mean it'll stay that way, but could. Who knows? So yeah, what we're working on, and yeah, for Terry, what Chimmy and I are doing is we are going to incorporate FVGs into this. Just it has to be one step at a time. Most of this coding takes about 2 weeks at a time just to get like one or two things done, and that's why anyone on UTS and all those guys really haven't done a lot of that work, because ThinkScript doesn't allow for arrays like PineScript does with TradingView. So it's a little bit more complicated of a coding cycle and iteration than it is on PineScript. PineScript, you know, it allows for arrays, it allows for a lot of different things, and ThinkScript just is a little bit more archaic, more rule-centric than I think PineScript is when it comes to the actual coding language, or less advanced than PineScript, if I can say that much. So, but right now, you know, still making a higher low. But this should, as it works down, this will disappear and it'll create this. You know, it'll take the lowest of the next candles. So you'll see this higher low. Don't think that this is the definite higher low. What do you need in orderly backtest? I don't know about the backtesting on this one. I'll have to talk to Chimmy about that. But so let me give you an example on just what I'm talking about, the lower lows though. What you want to see if you're going to stay in this bearish trend. Oh, in order the backtest. Yeah, I don't know on this one. I'm not a backtesting. Look, you guys know I do patterns. I'm not a developer. I'm not a backtester. We got guys in the Discord that do all that understand it in great detail. Chimmy can probably answer that question better than I can. I'm just the guy that thinks of these concepts and tries to come up with them and put them in a way that new, intermediate, and advanced traders can all use and effectively give it to the market makers. Now, also, if you have double tops or double bottoms, this is going to call those out too. I don't think I have them turned on right now, but they will call out double tops and double bottoms. But you can look right here. If you're going to stay in this bearish trend, guys, this is what you got to break. You got to break this to go back in the bearish trend. If not, this order block is going to stay standing. Right now, you kind of got this small gap, but it's coming down to fill it. Now, you might reverse right here. And guess where you're going to reverse? Look at that support level. Look at where this stopped. Look at what it broke to get there. Right? That's technically a change of character, because you had a swing high right here, and that swing high was broken. So this is a change of character. This line right here is your change of character. And you made a lower swing low. Higher high, lower, higher low, higher high, higher low. And so that's a break of structure, actually. So that's a break of structure. Right now, I say that we're back into a bullish trend until we break this level right here. But we'll see. What other questions? All right. I'm going to end the stream because my kids are going crazy. I got to cook dinner. But just like I said, the links in the Discord. Please like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Go to the Discord and at least get on the free version of the Discord and contribute to that. And so thank you for joining the call. I appreciate it. And wait until I think we'll have something better out by next week for Mark. Chimmy and I are starting to really wrap our heads around it and get it. And so, and even Chimmy's like, as he's coding this, he's like, oh my gosh, this is like changing the way I think of the market. And I'm like, I told you, man, like this is really gold once we get it on the charts and show it to you guys. So as you can tell, I have people calling me, and I will get off here. Have a great night.